Easily integrate Ragic with other apps. No coding required. If you need to integrate Ragic with other tools like your company's existing systems, e-commerce platforms, or Slack, for example, Ragic offers easy integration options that require no coding. This video will cover 5 methods of integration, split into 2 categories: Ragic native integration and no-code integration tools. If your data is stored in the cloud and mainly in Excel or CSV format, you can use Ragic's native integration. But if you want to integrate with external software like Notion or Slack, you'll need no-code integration tools. Let's start with Ragic's native integration, periodic import from URL. It's the simplest way to bring external data into Ragic. If you have an Excel or CSV file that is publicly accessible online that updates regularly, you can use this method to integrate the data easily. For example, you have an online, frequently updated Excel sheet of customers that you want to sync with a customer sheet in Ragic, then you can use this method. You can start with opening the customer sheet in Ragic, click Tools, then select Periodic Import from URL and enter the URL of the file. Make sure the URL is public and allows direct file downloads for anyone so Ragic can access the file, not a link that requires manual downloading when opened. Additionally, the first column of the file must contain key values for the system to identify the data correctly. If you want the system to sync the data daily, check the Keep Data Synchronized from the URL option. The system will then update your database daily according to your workflow. Please note that syncing will overwrite existing data. This option is best for frequently updated external data. If you only need to import the file once, you don't need to select this option. The next settings are similar to importing data from a file. You can select which fields to import and decide how to handle data overwriting. The second Ragic native integration is Publish to the Web. It's the flip side of periodic import from URL. With this feature, you can turn a Ragic sheet into a public link, so anyone can download the data with just a click. No login required. In Ragic, go to Tools and select Publish to the Web. Keep in mind that since Ragic is a database with access rights control, make sure the link you share has the necessary access rights. Otherwise, people with the link might not be able to view the data. Set the sharing access rights based on who you're sharing with. If your Ragic Sheets data is for everyone to see, just set the Everyone group to Viewer. This way, anyone can view the data but can't make changes. If your Ragic data shouldn't be public and you can't use the Everyone setting, try Generate a link with an API key. This link will give anyone with it access based on your account's access rights. For setup details, check the link in the description. Now I will use the Set Access Right of Group Everyone to Viewer as an example. You can decide what data to share, like the range of fields to display or whether to apply filters. Once set, anyone with the link can download the data. Now let's dive into the second category, no-code integration tools. Ragic currently supports 3, IFT, Zapier, and Make. Briefly explained, integration tools work by setting up a trigger and an action to create automated workflows. The trigger is an event that occurs in one software, which starts the automated workflow. The action is what gets executed in another software when the trigger happens. For example, whenever a new entry is added to the Ragic customer sheet, I want to automatically send a message to a sales channel on Slack. In this case, the trigger would be a new entry added to the Ragic customer sheet, and the action would be send a message on Slack. IFT, Zapier, and Make work in similar ways, but they each have unique features that make them better for different tasks. IFT is the easiest to set up, but the free version only lets you create workflows with one trigger and one action. Also, due to its technical setup, IFT's integration options with Ragic are quite limited. Zapier supports more software and lets you perform multiple actions with one trigger. You can also set up simple conditions and paths, like filtering data before executing an action. However, the free version allows only 2 stages, one trigger and one action, so you'll need the paid version for more advanced conditions. Make also allows one trigger to perform multiple actions and offers advanced condition settings and format conversions, making it suitable for more complex automation workflows. I'll show you how to set up integrations with these 3 no-code tools. Let's start with the simplest one, IFTTT. For example, if you want to automatically send a message to the sales channel on Slack whenever a new entry is added to the Ragic customer sheet, here's how you'd set it up. Log into IFTTT, click Create in the top right corner. For the If This part, select the trigger system, which will be Ragic. Next, choose the trigger action, New Entry Created. Connect your Ragic account. Select the sheet you want to trigger the action, and click Create Trigger. In Then That settings, select Slack. Select the action Post to Channel and connect your Slack account. Choose the channel or recipient and set up the message title and content. Click Create Action, then Continue, and finally Finish to complete the setup. From now on, whenever a new entry is added to this sheet, IFTTT will automatically send a Slack message to the sales channel. Now let's move on to using Zapier. Imagine you want to automatically add a new entry to a calendar sheet in Ragic whenever a new event is created in Google Calendar. Log into Zapier and click Create in the top left corner, then select Zaps. Since your trigger is Google Calendar, choose Google Calendar for the Trigger app. For the event, select New Event to trigger when a new event is created, and connect your Google account, and then click Continue. Choose the calendar that will trigger the action and click Continue again. Then, click Test Trigger to check if the connection is successful. You should see that the system has successfully retrieved the data. Click Continue with selected record, and then move on to setting up the action. Choose Ragic as the app, and for the event, select Create Record to set up the action that will add a new record. First, you'll need to connect your Ragic account using an API key. Go to Ragic. Click the downward arrow next to Home, select Personal Settings, and select Generate New API Key. Copy the key and return to Zapier to paste it in. Enter the server name, which is the part of the URL before the database account name. This indicates the server where your database is hosted. For this URL, the server name would be ap5ragic.com. Click Yes, Continue to Ragic to complete the connection, then click Continue. Select the sheet you want to connect. You'll see a list of fields from that sheet. Match them up with the fields from Google Calendar. Click Continue, then Test Step to ensure the connection works. Once everything looks good, click Publish to finish. Now, whenever a new event is created in Google Calendar, Zapier will automatically add a new entry in Ragic. You can also edit and update this entry later, making it easier to manage all your information. Finally, let's look at Make. Unlike Zapier and IFTTT, Make allows you to create more complex automation workflows with multiple actions triggered simultaneously. For example, imagine you have a survey sheet and a customer sheet in Ragic. When someone finishes the survey, you want to send a confirmation email automatically. For those who agree to register as members, you'd create an entry in the customer sheet and send a registration success email. Make is perfect for setting up this kind of multi-step workflow with multiple triggers and actions. Using this example, start by logging into Make and clicking Create a New Scenario in the top right corner. This is where you can build the automation workflow you need. First, you need to choose the trigger. In this case, it's when someone completes the survey and a new entry is added to the survey sheet. So, select Ragic, then choose Watch New Record. Just like what we did when setting up Zapier integration, we need to provide an API key to connect Ragic with Make. Click Create a Webhook and then Create a Connection. Paste your API key here. For the server URL, unlike Zapier where you only need the server name, in Make, you need to enter the full server URL. After pasting the URL, click Save. In the Form section, choose the sheet that will trigger the action, then click Save again. Since Make doesn't automatically fetch the sheet fields, click Run once in the bottom left. Then, go to the survey sheet you selected earlier and add a new entry. This allows Make to retrieve the sheet fields so you can continue with the setup. Next, set up the action. Click the plus sign, and since you want to automatically send a confirmation email when new data is added, select Gmail's Send an Email. First, connect your Google account. Then, set the recipient, subject, and email content. Once you're done, click OK. After each step, you can click Run Once to test the workflow and make sure everything is set up correctly. If it runs smoothly, it means the email was sent, and the subject and content are accurate. Back in Make, you also want to automatically create an entry in the customer sheet for those who agree to register and send them a registration success email. To set this up, click the wrench icon and select Add a Router to add a new path. Next, click the plus sign in the middle to add a new path and set up the actions. These actions will only run if the respondent chooses to agree to register as a member. To do this, click the wrench icon and choose Set up a filter. Set the condition to trigger when the field ID 1003092 has a value of Yes. Click OK to save. Only entries meeting this condition will continue to the next actions. The first one is you want to set up the action to add an entry to the customer sheet in Ragic when the condition is met. Choose Create a Record in Ragic. Select the sheet, match the fields, and click OK to finish setting up this action. The second one is to set up the action to send a registration success email. Click the plus sign, select Gmail's Send an Email, and configure the recipient, subject, and content. Click OK when you're done. Your workflow is now complete. Finally, click Run Once to test the entire workflow and make sure everything is working correctly. Add a new entry in Ragic and select Yes in this field. Click Save. Then, return to Make. You should see that the modules in Make have been triggered correctly. The email address you used should receive 2 emails, and the customer sheet should have a new entry created. With IFTTT, Zapier, or Make, as long as you can find the software you want to connect, you can use these no-code tools to set up the integration. These are 5 ways to integrate Ragic with external software without coding. If none of these tools meet your needs and you prefer a more customized solution, you can use HTTP API to access the data from Ragic. To see more tutorial videos, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to get the latest course updates. See you next time. Goodbye.